Wow, just look at that sky, all them reds, blues and purples. Good evening guys, the day is gone. We had a good one at Epcot today, pretty much keeping it nice and relaxed, but the day's gone. We're now in the evening time and I thought, you know what, we've been here for a while now and I've still not vlogged, shown you guys what's down at Disney Springs. So let's go and do that now. Catch you in a bit. Right, well, so we'll start the tour of Disney Springs, or as I still call it, Downtown Disney from here. In front of you there, you have the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Originally, that was next to the plushie section in the old world of Disney, if anyone remembers the layout of that. Sometimes you look at things and think, they change things and they don't work out for the better. The old layout of the old world of Disney is far superior to what it is now. You can actually go in there and find things. Now you go in there and it's within 5 seconds you're lost. You can't find what you need. This whole area here used to be Once Upon a Toy. Just this front section is now. Later on, this section here become a Star Wars area until the Star Wars book got its own store towards the back there. That is the Earl of Sandwich, a great place to get a, well, basically as it says, a sandwich, or you can get a soup, something like a nice salad, but it's cooked fresh in front of you, really tasty. I usually have the buffalo chicken wrap and I tell you what, it's got a serious kick to it. Obviously families with young children are going to want to get photos with Mr. Potato Head and Buzz Lightyear. Trends, will probably have a look in that later on. There's a pan round in front of you, you've got pin traders, that's been here forever and a day, but you can also get your MDE linked up to your wristband here. If you're having issues, some people do, not everybody's a techno head, and they will certainly help you out there. Now, here's a strange one for you. How many people do you know with a left hand? Well, there's an actual stall there that sells everything you could possibly need if you're left-handed. That's the new Star Wars trading post. Little carousel there. Here we have a spice and tea exchange, which pretty much says exactly what it is. It's like kitchen supplies. Used to be a lot better. Used to get things like aprons and oven mitts and bits and pieces like that in there, so it's great for gifts. The Days of Christmas store here. Now, as we are in the season of Halloween, they dedicate kind of a quarter of the store to Halloween style merchandise, of which some of the things I've always wanted but we'd pretty much struggle to get home are these little countdown calendars. You get date things on there, it counts down saying you've got 31 days or whatever till Halloween. They do one for Christmas as well. They used to do a yearly one, now it seems to be like a month's worth. Some of these are just stunningly beautiful. It seems to be just simply tree ornaments now, but it used to have garlands and all sorts in it. But then again, I am going back to the 90s. This is where you can get personalised items, so everything's of the same spec, but then you come in and have your name added to it, if you so desired. Well, some of them are huge. I mean, look at the size of that, look. That is a fine art store. Won't so much bother going through there because everything has a pretty hefty price tag, to be honest with you. But you do get the artists there on the day that will actually sign things for you. Have the Rainforest Cafe down here. Of the two themed restaurants down here, the one in the distance you can see over there, T-Rex, I far find that one superior to this. And of course, well, you get the jungle sound in here, you get a meteor attack there. The smell hits you as soon as you come in the door in this place, as they're cooking the tasty treats or coating them in a layer of Laffy's chocolate or buttons or sprinkles. Some of these things come at quite a price though. I mean, they're $6.49 and there's maybe half a dozen biscuits in there, or cookies should we say, as we're in America. Currently have a storm happening inside the Rainforest Cafe. All sorts of merchandise depicting your animals. Everyone will have their favourites, of course. As you can see, it's covered in scaffolding at the moment. That of course means that you will not get the flame that comes out the top, which is pretty sporadic, once every couple of minutes. This just shows you the depth of the place. It goes on for probably a good couple of miles. All this area you can see here, you see T-Rex in front of me there, and the Lego store. Originally, just beyond the Lego store, there would have been a McDonald's. That became El Pollo Loco in the early 2000s, and that was as far as downtown Disney went. All this has not really changed so much over the years, all around this area. But as I pan back round, where T-Rex was, to the right hand side of that, which is part of Disney Springs, it's got bars there, etc. But back in the day, that used to be downtown Pleasure Island. Had all your dance clubs, your comedy stores, etc., and like a fun fair in the middle. Have a pearl factory here, the kind of thing you find at SeaWorld. They usually open a pearl live in front of you and you get what it is. Here's your little Casey Jr. type train. Got a little tiny circular track. It was out of order the other day. Looks as if it could be again tonight. But it's great for the kids. It makes a little sound, a little bit of a tune as it's going round.
I can go on Disney.
This is Trend, like a fashion arm of your Disney merchandise. Has some wonderful stuff in there, but it's not my cup of tea. So this store around the back, it's also linked with one called the Co-op. You'll get your lounge flies in here, but it's also got the further up market version. Actually, I've just seen it there. Those are called Dooney and Burke, and they come in sometimes around $300 each. You can even get stuff for your doggy. Not that we get anything for Scooby from here, because they would probably bite us. Rachel generally finds something that she's interested in this store. So it's more of a high conscious fashion accessories than it is your general Disney merchandise. A few of the original Disneyland inspired merchandise. Fuel rod exchange there. One of the best buys I think we ever had. This is where you can get your photos done. Will be over a green screen so they can put images behind it. And this is where you simply mustn't break or probably even touch stuff. That is just stunning. All them crystals. So in here you're going to find your Royal Dalton inspired stuff, your Schwarzy crystal, Disney's traditions, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of stuff that is heavily crystallized and comes at a price tag of somewhere in the region of, some of them, over 80,000. Nearly 15 grand for Elsa. So you do little smaller ones. Tink at nearly 9,500. Mickey close to 10,000. Some of this is just stunning. I mean, that looks like ice. It will give you an idea on the increasing prices. These here I remember probably last year, maybe the year before that, because we come back pretty much every year, they were $16.99. They're now $39. I'm not going in basin because basically it's soap and everybody knows what soap does. It's just in different fragrances, different smells, different textures. This is Ghirardelli, probably the finest chocolate this side of the pond. And to think that we used to get this handed out at the end of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party back in the day. The waterside stage, something there pretty much every night. That's where you will find Eddie Maserati. He's this special old guy. He comes down and dances every night, and he's a true character. Up here outside World of Disney, you've got Stitch waiting to spit on people, because that's what he does. This is the chaos that is World of Disney. It is absolutely huge. If you're trying to find something, good luck. That is poutine, very much a Canadian inspired delicacy, but it's not just cheese curds and gravy there. You can get an Italian version which has got bolognese, you can get a chili version, all kinds of things, nacho version, just something different to try. Amaret's here in the corner. It's basically a cake store with a hefty price. You do not get a lot for your money in here. This brings us pretty much down to the beginning of what I would call Disney Springs. So you've got the Harley Davidson store, Polite Pig, that's a restaurant bar with a really fantastic beef and pork platter. Uniqlo, it's like highly discounted brands. I'm trying to think what we would have that was similar back home. We've got Under Armour. That used to be the go-to. Everyone that come to Orlando, Florida, when they would go out to Busch Gardens on a specific bus tour, it always had a stop off at Ron John Surf Shack. And for a good maybe half a decade they've had a store here now. It's pretty much high end, to be honest with you guys. You got the likes of Lacoste, there's Oakley, Sephora, if that's perfume I think it is, makeup, etc. Here you're not going to find your discounted goods the same as you would at your outlet stores. Probably because pretty much what you'll find at the outlet stores is maybe last season's model or something that didn't quite sell, so they drop it, put it in discount price, which is good for those of us hunting for a bargain. Those who've got a tidy penny in their pocket can come down here, although we can, because we're limited with a budget. Anyone coming over from the UK, so you couldn't go in a store and buy a tag, for instance. Well, you could, but if you get caught you could be in trouble. You would seriously never get me up there, standing where that blue circular ring is on the Disney balloon. It's tethered, of course, and obviously if that is a very steel cable, if that cable was to break, you've got trained balloonists, so they would let the air out slowly so it would come down safely. But even so, I do not fancy Coach, Mac, Joe Malone, Zara. To some of you with a, I don't know, a taste for the finer things, these are probably household names. Kate Spade. And These trees are always like this, they're always lit up. It like entices you like a moth to the flame. Heard of a lot of these stores. I think Rachel's had Vera Bradley stuff before. American Threads. That big red glow in the distance with 100 below it, that is the Coca-Cola store, which has a calf on top of it. And you can meet a polar bear up there as well. Not an actual polar bear, but the Coca-Cola polar bear. Pretty much the same location as it's always been, but a different layout. Used to have, it's probably maybe 2/3 the size of that now, is what the original was like, and it had a little crocagator turning around on top of it with a store about here where the chicken guy is. We're now in an area that is frequented by restaurants and bars. Was the case with us, but if ever your ticket agent has told you to pick up some wristbands, it's usually upstairs there in Planet Hollywood. As stores go, that Coca-Cola one truly is huge. One of your garages, originally back in the day, this was maybe 2.5 miles, just a flat open car park. This here, the AMC Dine-In Theatre, back in the day, so I'm talking late 90s when we first started coming. My first year was 97, Rachel's first year was 95. What you used to do, people say about not planning etc, but back in the day, Virgin Holidays, you'd come down here into a cinema, they'd usher you all in, you'd watch a short video presentation and they'd try and sell you all sorts of excursions, and then you'd queue out and the hustle and bustle would start for you to purchase your either 5 or 10 day hopper pass, which would never run out until you've used up all your days. And then that'll be half of your first day gone. You do get some decent music down here, that's for sure. There's a balloon coming down. More of your Disney style boutiques. They have Starbucks coffee down here. Obviously they'll have Joffrey's as well. As we make our way down here, this used to have a few really trendy bars. Now there's a lot of shops. There's usually a, I don't know if it's still here or not, there used to be a soccer shop down here, or football as we call it in the UK. Marvel headquarters. If this is anything to do with any franchise they've got, they're open a specific store just to go with it. So you want your Marvel superheroes, you'll get your merchandise and clothing in there. The Candy Cauldron. If you have a sweet tooth, you're certainly going to love it now. And then you have your sunglasses huts. There used to be a tobacconist down here as well. When I say tobacconist, it used to be proper cigars. Here we go, there's your soccer shop. Pele Soccer. They usually have half a dozen different British teams in there. Then a lot of your Spanish and Italian. What you can see in front of me there, Splitsville, that used to be a 2-story high Virgin Megastore, which is pretty much like a library downstairs. You could get your CDs, your DVDs, your books, gadgets, etc. And now it's pretty much a bowling alley, but a fancy one at that. More fancy eateries. Except we don't generally wander down here. Certainly not in the last half a decade or so, since things changed. Now an M&M store here. This used to be a indoor Disney entertainment complex with your arcade. Great for if the weather was nasty. House of Blues. And there, most of you would have heard of Cirque du Soleil, the Canadian inspired acrobats. They usually have a program that runs throughout the world of different shows. I think the Albert Hall's held them a couple of times. Said everything here. You don't just get the restaurant, you get a full merchandise facility that goes with it. You can smell the alcohol from here. Something I do want to show you guys who want to reminisce. I'll see what's left of it.
This is what you just learned this song.
This is about as far as I need to go because I can see it from here. That area there is where anyone, if you remember, and you was a Virgin Holidays or Virgin Atlantic guest, your twilight check-in at Downtown Disney, that's where it used to happen, right there. Long forgotten. Well, it is on the terms of business, but us as customers, we certainly want it back. But I don't ever think it will ever return. Times have changed, I guess. I've asked around and they said they've got no plan to bring it back. The only thing I do know of is that we used to fly from Gatwick. At the moment we're having to fly from Heathrow to come out here, and I believe that Gatwick will be back by the end of 2025. But this truly is a stunning place that you could get easily lost in. Made our way back to the Disney style store at the back of Planet Hollywood, Coca-Cola store, etc., because there's a bridge around this area that takes you further in to more fabulous drinking locations and eateries and fashion accessory stores. Back in the day, one thing I'm truly gutted about, look at the size of that crane down there. Back in the day, when you had the old Planet Hollywood, the orca from the film Jaws was based around here. And if for some reason someone made a decision, oh, we don't need that more, and they scrapped it, something as priceless as that. As I said, there's a balloon and it's certainly not for me. Now below this bridge is actually a hidden bar. Whatever your taste, whatever you're into, Disney Springs has pretty much got it. That's the Edison there. Ganachery, that's like fine, fancy chocolate. Fellow vlogger who I introduced to my Facebook group, the Florida Forum, Rob Sable and family. He actually, I don't know if he still does, but he worked for Gideon's, the bakery. And that store has an absolutely enormous queue out in it, on a regular basis, just for a cookie. Boathouse, Josh Lindsay's. There we go, there's Gideon's. And as I said, look, always a queue to get into it. That is insane. Would you queue for a cookie? Obviously, these guys would. Here's Raglan Road. That is signature dining. You'll get your traditional Irish dancing there. Great for a pint of Guinness if you so wish. Shepherd's pie, etc. Sprinkles, famous for cupcakes, and there's just a plethora of eateries around here as well. We have, not on this holiday, we haven't actually frequented it, but over there, I believe it's on that side, is Blaze Pizza. Well renowned, everybody seems to love it. It's cheap and cheerful, but quite tasty. If you love your Pandora stuff, you'll get a lot of specific Disney merchandise here that you will not get anywhere else in the world. I know a lot of people collect it. And now we're back to fancy stores again as we make our way back to catch up with Rachel. Now I mentioned Uniqlo on the way down here. I remember what it was. It's very similar to Primark, but specifically Disney. I think you can tell it's late in the day because the queue to get in the Lego store is not reaching all the way out the back here. That does on a regular basis. There's Fullerton's Crab House. I believe it's still called Fullerton's Crab House. It's been there ever since I've been coming. And this is your, as far as I'm concerned, incredible T-Rex. Haven't been in there for the best part of maybe a decade, but I simply love the place. So maybe we should make the effort a bit more. Very much dinosaur infused. You get some burgers, you get the classic volcano dessert, which is enormous. As I said, it's just a different world here, a plethora of different restaurants to suit every taste. Very much family oriented. Just to verify that what was Fullerton's is now called Paddlefish. It's an old paddle steamer. Right, let's meet my old friend before I wind up this vlog. Hope it's been good for you guys. Just gives you an idea of what is down here. Easy to spend an evening, an afternoon, a full day even here. But my friend is located right here. For years I've been coming to see this guy, even when it was downtown Disney, based loosely on the Loch Ness Monster, and he's sort of a reincarnation. If you're ever at the Magic Kingdom and you look to Tomorrowland, there's a Topiary version that's been there since the day dot, and that is his big brother in Lego. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour around Disney Springs in the evening time. Something I've been meaning to do. It adds purpose to being down here as much as anything else. Probably a good mile, maybe 2 miles of solid walking involved in putting this together, but I've enjoyed it. It's trying to have a bit of content out there for sure. I'm going to now chill out with Rachel, probably get a nice cold drink, and we'll make our way back to our hotel room. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Here's Rachel right here. I've made it back. So with that guys, thanks for watching. See you in the movies. Bye for now.